So you finally win your first tax deed at an auction. Now what the heck do you do? One of the mistakes people make costs them sometimes three, four, five, $10,000, and in other cases, it could cost them the property if you don't implement the one key factor after you win at a tax deed sale. So we're going to get into that today because I haven't seen many videos or live streams talking about what the heck do you do if you actually win one of these properties. Obviously, the end goal is to sell it and hopefully make a profit, which many people can. But what we're going to go into today is some simple steps you should do after you win the bid. So we're going to break this down into about 7 or 8 steps. And if you follow these, you will be in good shape after you win the tax deed. So we're going to break those down here today. It's Dustin Hahn here, and the channel is dedicated to helping new investors break into their first property through tax deed investing and grow a scalable real estate business because what's worse than one deal is stopping. So we want to show you how to do multiple deals over and over again so you can use this business as your way to springboard into real estate and get some deals, because tax deed investing is an amazing arbitrage in a world where there's not a lot of deals and inflation's hitting everything. This is still kind of what would you call it? An arbitrage that's available for you to get into real estate. So if we haven't met before, there's like over 3,400 videos on this channel here. Our site Tax Lien School has, I think, the most free resources for tax lien deed investors. And then for everybody who logs in, who signs watches, we always give away the ABCs of Tax Lien and Deed Investing mini course below in the description. Totally free book to help you guys get going. So we're going to bring in the auction wizard here himself. If you guys have not met him yet, Mr. Josh Blanchard. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon.
Excellent. So Josh is a veteran, hundreds and hundreds of tax deed sales, hot off the Texas sale. And we're going to get into some things that you need to do immediately after you win a bid at a tax deed sale. So let's get into just the very first thing that you're going to do after you win a bid. So that is going to be obviously follow through on the correct payment procedure. And this actually starts before the auction to figure out what the heck they want, because depending on where you are, like in Texas, you have to pay immediately. You win the bid, you go up to the sheriff and you give them either the money or the cashier's checks. Figure out what they want. Some places you might have an hour to pay. Other places like Philadelphia, you put down 10% and then you have 14 days to complete the payment. But it's very important to figure out how they want their money. And one of the things that happens is a lot of the times people might go and maybe they don't have the cash on them and they think they can go pay later, but then they can't. They lose the property, they get banned from the auctions, and they let a good deal slip through the cracks. But this is also a good opportunity for many people to buy over the counters, because a lot of folks will say like, oh, over the counter properties are junk. But a lot of the times, 10% slip through the cracks because maybe somebody bid, they couldn't pay, goes into county inventory, and then you can have yourself a good deal. So very, very important to figure out exactly what you need to do if you win a bid, because we see people screw that up all the time. So we don't want to mess that up. So Josh, what would be kind of the second thing you'd not recommend, the second iron rule?
Yeah, it's something that's often overlooked too. This is a step that I would say the average investor forgets about, and it could really cost you big time. And what you got to do is get vacant property insurance on the house. So if you get a piece of land, a small parcel, or an acreage, in a rural setting, that isn't really necessarily what we're talking about. We're talking more about if you buy an actual house. And oftentimes, what will happen is someone will acquire a property from a tax deed sale, and they do know that they need to get insurance on it. But what might happen is they'll call one or two companies, and the companies will say, we can't do that. And they might be looking at maybe like a conventional insurance company, something that you would use if you bought a house off of the MLS. And so at a tax deed sale, that's a niche market. And so it's going to be the same kind of thing. You need a niche solution. And so that's where Farmer Brown Insurance is really helpful. So you're looking for a company that specializes in vacant property insurance. And the area or the time that it could be a little bit more challenging is if you're in the area that the property is in, if there's maybe flooding, or there's like storms or hail, anything like that, you may need to go even a bit further, a little bit more niche, or find someone that specializes in that. But you absolutely can't forget that step. Could you imagine spending like $60,000, and maybe you've been saving that money for like a decade, and then you buy a tax deed property, it's worth 200 grand. There's a ton of equity in it, and then like someone just sets fire to it, and it vanishes. And so you've got to get that vacant property insurance. It doesn't cost you a whole lot, and it's going to save you big time if anything happens.
Yeah, that's a big one, and we've had our vacant property insurance be used before. It doesn't happen a lot, but we had somebody come in and like vandalize a property. So
That
that's
would
where
be putting it lightly.
that would be putting it lightly. You know what? Maybe we should do. And by the way, guys, welcome to the live stream. If you're new here, say hello. And if you're tuning in again, let us know your city and state you're tuning in from. We often will tailor the stream based on who's here and your location. Just stop by, say hello. If you have any questions, go ahead, put them in there. This is the time for questions to be answered. So this is a live stream, but Josh, maybe on Tuesday, that could be a fun one where we go into kind of the biggest disaster we've ever had, which was it 3 times the property was vandalized?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. 3 times.
So
They couldn't get enough.
they couldn't get enough. So long story short, we had a property we were doing a rehab on, and the contractor he screwed over some of his employees or subcontractors, and they came back and like totally destroyed one of our houses. Like this thing was mint, brand new everything, and then they came in and just destroyed it, like all of the new appliance, everything. And
Yep.
then we boarded it up, and then they came back, they did it again, boarded it up, put cameras on it, and then they came back and they flooded the basement, like 6 feet of water.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
Yeah. And that vacant insurance policy was $1,500, and it paid out like $78,000. So you could imagine, if we didn't have that $1,500 vacant property insurance policy, that would have been insane. But 78 grand, $1,500 policy, it's really worth it.
yeah, like this thing was bad. They came in and we had a brand new, fully beautiful house, and by the time we were done, it was torn down to the studs again.
Yep. Yeah.
Wild time. But yeah, so after we do that, after you win the bid, and if anybody's new here, do us a favor. If you like this, hit the thumbs up. Remember, in the description, we're giving away the ABCs of Tax Lien and Deed Investing mini course to help you get started. We have the directory and the guides all in there, so you can crack it open and get to work. There's several sales probably in your area coming up within the next maybe a couple months or year. So if you guys want some help, we can take you by the hand and just show you where to go and help you avoid perhaps some of the dangers. So you can always schedule a free call, and we can help you do that as well. So yeah, welcome guys. Stop by, say hello, let us know your city, state, moving in from or tuning in from, and any questions that you have. So next thing you want to do right after you win is obviously you need to go and record the deed with the county. So this will confirm your official ownership. Always get a copy for your records as well. If you don't record it correctly, could create some problems later down the line if something's spelt wrong, or maybe you didn't even record it at all. I think I mentioned this like 20 years ago. I made a mistake. I didn't have an LLC, and I'm like, but I'm going to be getting an LLC in the next month. So I bought the property in the name of the LLC that I was going to create. And yeah, that didn't work too well, because when it came time to, put it in that name, it doesn't work that way, because otherwise you could literally just go and start putting any property, creating an LLC for any property. It's like, 125 Main Street LLC. It's like, this is mine. So it doesn't work like that. So I had to actually do a quiet title on my own property to get it into the name of the LLC. So extremely rookie mistake there. So Josh, let's go on to the next step for these guys after they win the bid.
Okay, so you've won the bid, you've got the deed recorded, and you've got vacant property insurance on it. The next thing you want to do is secure your property. And so, if there's somebody inside the property, part of securing it would then be making or initiating contact with them, more or less moving towards getting them out of the property. If it's the previous homeowner, that's something that we would always recommend. We wouldn't sell to the previous homeowner, because if they weren't able to pay the taxes to stop the sale, they're probably not going to be able to pay you rent. And so that's one of the big reasons we would move towards that, getting them out of the property, getting a timeline, and then usually we'll set aside cash for keys to help that transition. If they don't have the capital or funds readily available, to move, we could cover that. And then if it was vacant, you want to get the locks changed. So you want to put a lockbox on it. That way, if you are out of state, people can check on it for you, contractors, realtors, potential buyers. And a lot of times people will wait until they get the deed. But in our experience, we've had a ton of locksmiths be willing to actually go change the locks on a vacant property once we show them that we won the bid or we were the winning bidder. Not all locksmiths are willing to do that, but a majority are, and we've never had to necessarily wait to get that done. But if it's occupied, then you would have to wait. So you get the deed if you want to do an eviction. And then part of securing it as well, if there's anything that's unsafe, you want to correct that as quickly as possible. And then on the other side, anything that's going to actually contribute to damaging your asset. We always look at the top down. And so if the roof is exposed, for instance, rain's going to come in and it's going to continue to cause water damage, deterioration. So a great idea would then be to like put a blue tarp on it to protect it. So anything to protect the asset is also part of securing it. If the grass is super high, let's say it's like 4 feet, you're going to get hit with some grass liens. So it could be a good idea to take care of that. So really securing the asset, protecting your investment, and then making sure that you're not going to lose any more money due to something like that, part of the property being exposed, or if the windows are broken, get those boarded up so that you can save your profit.
Nice. I noticed we have another channel, the Tax Lien School highlights channel, and one of the clips was the beware of the blue tarp.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Josh's blue tarp. You want to tell him real quick what the blue tarp theory is?
Yeah, blue tarp theory. It's just that they weren't willing to invest enough money into the property to replace the roof when they should have. And so, you've got some water leakage, and that's going to trickle down and affect the whole property. And so you're going to have water damage, or the supports are going to be inadequate now, and it's going to be a fairly costly repair. And then, if you can check Google Street View and you notice there was a blue tarp a decade ago or 2 decades ago, your property is pretty much close to either a tear down or going down to the studs. And so you really want to be careful, because if you look at a blue tarp property and you think, I could do this for 50, 60 grand. No, it's going to be a lot more.
It's actually a good one. That's a new thing I've learned from you right now, is like go back on the Google Street, and if there's a blue tarp years ago, that could be it's a good red flag.
Oh, and I'll tell you, we've paid before as well to deal with critters, and some of them are real nasty. Or not to be, I don't think this is grotesque, but like things like cat urine, they're really, really hard to get out. Like you'd be really surprised. And so we did a remodel, and at the end of the remodel, it was like,
Yeah.
cat urine, the worst. And there was a cat in there before, and it was so difficult to get that out. It required a lot of special tools, and it's quite surprising because you would think cat urine shouldn't be a problem, but it really was.
Yeah, it's bad as far as like seeping into wood or like ceramic tiles, like just a little tinge, and always
Yeah.
remains.
Yeah.
That's why
That was a disappointing phone call.
yeah, that's why you need to bake chocolate chip cookies every day.
Yep.
I remember what do you call it? Somebody was saying, like, if you're selling a house or doing an open house, always put a batch of chocolate chip cookies in the oven.
Yep. That's a good
That's the
smell.
way. That's the way to go here. Yeah, welcome, guys. If you have any questions, let us know where you're tuning in from, city, state, any questions. Appreciate everybody stopping by to say hello here. If you like the stuff, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up if you're wanting to get into this. And yeah, most of the folks who are tuning in, maybe seems most of the people tuning in are over the age of 40. You feel like you're a little late to the game when it comes to getting started in real estate. And these tax liens and deeds can be a good opportunity to get into real estate. I think it's kind of undeniable that real estate is a good path. So then from here, it's about choosing a tool to execute that path. Now, obviously with AI and YouTube, there's infinite directions for you guys to go in. And to be fair, many things can work, but one of the biggest problems is just endless scrolling without taking action. So, we recommend picking something and sticking to it. That's obviously, we're biased towards tax liens and deeds, hence the channel. But, we think it's a great opportunity for you to be able to get into a deal. You can flip it, and it can really be a good springboard into other types of real estate. Like for us, we started with these, I started 22 years ago. Josh, Corey now, what's it been, Josh? Like 12 years, 10 years? Many years.
Yeah, decade, a little, maybe a decade and a half. It's been a while.
Yeah. So, it's a good business to get into, to get your start. And then from there, you can springboard into other things. We took this information, went into foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, wholesaling, but it can really, give you a predictable way to get into it. Because if you're going to do wholesaling, you got to start marketing, you got to put out a bunch of money to send mailers. It's very, very competitive. Whereas with this, there's tens of thousands of these properties. So you just need to, put in some elbow grease, and then, your time frame is going to vary. Like for me, I got a property 2 days after going to a seminar on this stuff. Now that's exceptionally quick, but there's folks that watch our videos all the time that comment about how they got properties. So, at the end of the day, you need to take action. And that's why we always put the directory under here so that you can have the book, crack open the directory and just start calling some counties and getting some lists. So we do that. Or if you want us to just show you where to go, take you by the hand and show you some deals, you can schedule a free call and we can do that for you as well. But this is a good example. Why we ask, put your questions and where you're interested. We can tailor the stream. So Josh, is it possible to grab a home in Pennsylvania that you do judicial sale for 10K?
Yeah, absolutely. Now every tax sale is going to be quite different. But we have seen people buy houses at judicial tax sales in Pennsylvania for 10K or less. Now, if someone buys a house in Pennsylvania for like $2,500, chances are it's going to need some work. But if you buy a house for $2,500 that's worth like 120 fixed up, there's going to be enough meat on the bone, and someone's going to be interested in that property. And then Pennsylvania does have three different kinds of sales. So they've got the upset sale, which is the first one. Mortgages are not wiped though, so that's why you got to be really careful at an upset sale. And then judicial, which is regular, and then repository. And we've covered OTCs in Pennsylvania, which is called repository. Their inventory, and they're willing to accept like $250 or $500 or $1,000. So Pennsylvania is a really good state for over the counters, and then being able to get properties at a deep discount. But what you can always do is just go back and look at the previous sales history, because if what happened in the past, if you see something sell for a price that you would have loved to buy, you would have loved to pay that price, then this is a good auction to go to. And there's a lot of different counties in Pennsylvania as well, so there's a lot of opportunity. But yeah, absolutely, 10K is a healthy budget in Pennsylvania.
And then the other cool thing is some of those sales you can put down 10%, and then you have 14 days to pay. So if you're getting some for 10K, sometimes you can be putting down $1,000, and then you could bring in an investor if you want, or sign the bid as well. Let's see, Josh, do the OTCs have mortgages attached, or is everyone different?
Yeah, so the only time the mortgages are attached in Pennsylvania is for the upset tax sale. And it's really clear too in the rules. And so if you're ever curious about it, you can always just go ahead and look at it, or download the directory and give the county a call. A lot of times a simple phone call can save a lot of time. Yeah, the OTCs shouldn't have any mortgages. There's not really going to be anything there. And then usually they'll just wipe out everything. Because at that point, it doesn't do them any good for it to sit there. So they just want to get it back on the tax roll because chances are somebody hasn't paid taxes in 5 years. And so they're more interested in simply cycling it, which is great because some counties they won't lower the opening bid. They're always going to try to get their back taxes, and that's where you have inventory that's sitting and it's sitting for a reason. But that's not the case in Pennsylvania.
Nice, nice. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, we thought we'd change it up a little bit here today. Normally, we're doing some deep dives on the screen, but just to recap real quick, when you win the bid at one of these auctions, obviously the first thing you want to be doing is going to pay for it, having the right process in place, knowing, okay, do you need to take cash immediately? Can you wait an hour? Do you put down 10%? Find out, what type of payment is needed. Is there an online portal? Virtual deposit. From there, obviously get the deed recorded, make sure it's in your own name. After that, make sure you put the vacant property insurance on it in case vandals come. And then after that, you want to obviously secure the property. You need to put boards on it or lockbox, or if there's a tenant in there or a renter, go establish communication. There's been times where we've got rent checks from the people almost right after the auction. Or if there's somebody in the property, then obviously dealing with, them. I would say, what would we say? Maybe like 25% of the time the homeowner's in it.
Yeah, it's not too common. Yeah, it does happen though, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. So maybe 25% of the time the homeowner's in it, 25% of the time a renter, and then probably 50% of the time it's going to be vacant as well. Let's see. Somebody's saying, can I put it in an LLC? Yeah. If you have an LLC, you can buy it in the name of the LLC. Is the reason we have an LLC. That's why we
Good
have it.
idea.
That's why we have it. And then obviously your exit strategy, which you should know going into the property, right? Am I going to flip it? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to wholesale, seller finance, rent it out? So know that before you go into the property is very, very important. So yeah, good stuff, guys. We'll probably keep it a bit shorter here today. And then Josh, maybe we come back on Tuesday with our super nightmare story of all time.
Yeah, we'll bring up the photos. It'll
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. This is a good one. So you guys can come back Tuesday. And yeah, at the end of the day, we're here to help as far as what you guys are looking for, right? So we have like 3,000 videos here on the channel, or 3,400 to help you. There's Tax Lien School, which has interactive maps and like thousands of articles to get you going. Or, if you're worried about making a mistake, which a lot of folks are, we do done with you deals, meaning like we help you find the deals and evaluate them, and then help you spot any red flags on the title before you purchase is one of the things we do. So if you want to do that, you can schedule a free call below as well. We'd be happy to help you. If not, all good. We'll pop back here on Tuesday, and we appreciate everybody hopping on. See you guys.
Ciao.